Kelly still coming on this internet and saying that God placed it upon her heart to prepare her husband's clothes every night so that he can go out and have an affair is the reason why people be looking at y'all Christians sideways.
Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So there's a viral clip from a podcast of a pastor and his wife talking about their marriage and how their marriage dynamic works. So hold on, let me break it down for you. First off, this pastor's wife was on the podcast and she was talking about how in their marriage, first off, on their wedding day, her husband, which is now a pastor, showed up 1 hour late, but she knew that this is a man, God is just doing his thing, okay? And then she wanted to talk about how their marriage was very in a rocky place where her husband would look at her and tell her that I don't love you, I regret marrying you, I don't want to be with you, you disgust me, just telling her awful things about herself. And she said that while he was saying those things, all she could hear was just God telling him that was him speaking, but this is God's love for her is different, and that one day you're going to love me one day. This man literally told her, I don't love you. But she was saying that the Spirit of God was telling her, giving her the grace to let her know that one day you're going to love me and all that. And this has struck the conversation because she went on to drop bomb on us, telling us about how she knew he was cheating on her and she was the one that would prepare him to go see his side chick. And this has struck a conversation about how religion has kept women in toxic relationship and marriages, and how some women use religion to cover up toxicity in relationship and marriage. And some people are talking about how the grace of God sometimes can help some people go through things like this. So let's go check out this clip, people's response to this entire conversation, and then we'll come back and talk more.
I had a radical heart shift from that moment. I got in my word, under my word. I just completely changed as a person. And I realized that God loves me, that God has a purpose and plan for my life, that God chose me, that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah. So he would call me out my name. It wouldn't bother me because I allowed God's voice to be louder than his. And when I was going through transition of him not coming home on the weekends, not being there, telling me I hate you, I'll never love you, I wish I never married you, I knew that life and death is in the power of the tongue through the word of God. So I would say, you will love me one day. We will have a good marriage one day. And although he would go out for weekends, I would literally help him get ready to go meet his side chick by ironing his clothes and getting him ready for the night. And these are all things I was graced to do. I would not encourage anybody to do that unless you are graced by God to do this. But once I knew who I was, I realized,
that lady said she was helping her husband get ready to go meet his side chick. She was ironing his clothes for the weekend, knowing he was about to go meet his side chicks. And what was throwing me off about the clip is that man's just sitting right there giving ad-libs, talking about, right. She's saying how this man used to call her out her name, telling her he hates her, he will never love her, you know, he regrets marrying her. And her response was, you will love me one day. We will have a good marriage one day. Okay? And then, you know, I saw the clip and I was like, I feel like they probably spliced this together. We're not getting the real picture. You feel me? So I'm trying to hold my full thought until I watch the whole Dear Wifey podcast. But I started watching it before I went out today. And I was like, oh no, she was dead ass. Because what do you mean he was an hour late for your wedding? And he's saying how he was having cold feet. And you're saying how you just knew he was going to show up. And you already accepted that when he was going to be in a marriage, he wasn't going to be faithful. But as long as you knew, it was okay.
Sure.
And you telling us that man told you did not know what did he say? You have no worth or something? I said, and you stayed in the marriage. Yeah, y'all different. Y'all different. But I'm going to watch it because I refuse to believe what I heard, but I feel like what I heard is what was true. But that's crazy.
Kelly still coming on this internet and saying that God placed it upon her heart to prepare her husband's clothes every night so that he can go out and have an affair is the reason why people be looking at y'all Christians sideways on the internet. Y'all will say that God has put grace upon your heart to do anything. Y'all will jump backwards and backflip off of a building into a bed of nails and say that God graced you to do so. There is no way you are Christian and you are preparing your husband for adultery and then saying that that is the will of God. That is not the will of God. You guys have to stop allowing religion or this idea of being a Christian to distort your ideas on morality and self-respect. Getting called out of your name by your cheating husband who's going out every weekend to sleep with other women is not the will of God. That is not. But y'all will use God as an excuse to justify anything and to take the blame off of yourself and your own bad actions. And then it's crazy because people who are actually seeking religion or a sense of self will then be turning towards people like this and like, are these the lessons y'all are going to teach them? To allow a man to dog you out because it's the will of God? That makes absolutely no sense. I understand that divorce is something that is heavily frowned upon, like within religion or within Christianity, but there's no reason why you should allow yourself to be disrespected like that. No reason why.
Fearfully and wonderfully made. So he would call me out my name. It wouldn't bother me because I allowed God's voice to be louder than his. And when I was going through transition of him not coming home on the weekends, not being there, telling me I hate you, I'll never love you, I wish I never married you. I knew that life and death is in the power of the tongue through the word of God. So I would say, you will love me one day. We will have a good marriage one day. And although he would go out for weekends, I would literally help him get ready to go meet a side chick by ironing his clothes and getting him ready for the night. And these are all.
There's this special genre of Christian men that are just nothing short of demonic. These men have conditioned the women in the church to be prepared to take all of their anger and self-hate and all the negative things that they have within them out on their wives, and for their wives to be loyal and to stand as their trash can for their negativity and be happy and be prideful in that. But a loving God who made his children in his image would never want them to be a trash can for negativity, for somebody's negativity, for somebody's hate. It does not make sense in any reality. In Christianity, the foundational ideology is that God is the Father, the most highest vibration of love. If your real father, your brother, your mother would tear a man up for treating you like that, telling him that he hates, telling you that he hates you, that he wish he never knew you, that he wish he never is associated with you, and being disloyal, if somebody in your life would tear that man up if they heard him talking to you like that, what do you think that the person that loves you the most, that has the biggest capacity for love, would feel? See you go through that, telling you to stay because I love you, so you should stay. It doesn't make sense. This is gaslighting and manipulation, and it didn't start with that man. It started with the church congregation that she was with that conditioned her to think like this, and that probably made it okay. That made her rationale about this marriage okay. This is sick. And that's why I don't like church culture, because church culture is so sick sometimes.
So he would call me out my name. It wouldn't bother me because I allowed God's voice to be louder than his.
She did not allow God's voice to do anything. Tell you from personal experience, especially when you're in a long-term relationship where it's more than just being boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Your finances are intertwined. You're living together. You rely on each other. It becomes a situation where it is much easier to stay than it is to walk away. This woman personally, but I could tell you that she's a liar. Everything she said was a lie. Frankly, one of the reasons why I decided to walk away from Christianity, from the church, from any binds that has to do with religion, is because of the way that it is weaponized. And I feel like it is heavily weaponized against Black women, to the point that our ability to think, our ability to use our frontal lobe, like, reverts back to before the age of 25. There's no way that I'm going to be in a situation where I'm married to a man and it is a monogamous relationship. We made the decision to be with just us two, just him and I together. And you out here seeing other people, you sleeping out, you not coming home. And I'm not putting two and two together, but I'm ironing your clothes to send you to go be with somebody else. That is wild. Different situation if we made a decision that we're going to have an open marriage, which is a very adult thing to do, a very mature thing to do. I know a lot of people ain't with it, and quite frankly, it's not my cup of tea either. But if it's a situation where we're like, okay, we're both going to be in an open marriage, that's fine. But for you to be disrespected in that manner and not say anything, not do anything, and just say, well, this is the penance that God has given me, that is probably one of the most disgusting ways of using God's name, in my opinion. Young woman out here and you're seeing this video on your timeline, understand that this is demonic speak. This is the true demons. Okay? Do not allow these demons to manipulate you into thinking, oh, a man is cheating on me. He is mistreating me. He is talking down to me. He is devaluing me. He is making me feel self-conscious. He is making me feel like I lack self-worth, for you to just stare and stay and take it. Because you don't have to. You can walk away. You can. Especially if it's a situation where he ain't there, you baby leave. Okay? This is not okay. I left. I left because I couldn't take it. And then we reconciled. That's a different situation. But never would I get on the internet and say, God told me. God did not tell me anything. God ain't said nothing to me about that.
All things I was graced to do. I would not encourage anybody to do that unless you are graced by God to do this.
So, a couple of thoughts. My very first thought.
You're a victim.
And secondly,
Stand up. Stand up.
number one, having a mindset like this and just slapping a label of being a good godly woman over it is T-rash. Hell, this is about to be a series for real, because again, one of the many reasons for my deconstruction journey involves stuff like this, like the premise that you must suffer, and that is it, and that is all, and I am graced with being able to suffer. I am graced with being a doormat. Why? Because I am indoctrinated and I am taught that I am nothing on my own. I'm completely worthless without a higher entity. Like, I'm nothing. I'm as a filthy rag, and that's how my husband's going to treat me, and I'm going to continue to iron his clothes with extra starch while he goes out with his side chick, because I am nothing at all without God, and I'm nothing without my husband. Absolutely nothing. I'm a fucking doormat. Does that shit sound right? I mean, I talked about this a few videos ago, where people will rationalize things that they are going through, and they'll just slap a label of God said, God told me, God led me, I'm graced to X, Y, and Z. And I can't listen to all of that indoctrination without thinking about seriously how African Americans came to be introduced to Christianity, specifically African Americans, specifically descendants of slaves in America. Because you mean to tell me that people who were brought over here and treated like objects, given nothing but the one thing that they made sure to give us as a present was Christianity? And under that Christianity, we were taught to serve and obey and be graced to deal with the suffering. Like, do we not see the parallels between like being so accepting of suffering all of these generations later, and we can still use that book to rationalize our suffering? Like, shit is not adding up for me. 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 in this scenario. And with this mindset of no accountability for any parties involved, I can't wrap my mind around it, because you're sitting here and you're like, I'm openly accepting the suffering because I'm graced to be able to do that. I'm ironing his clothes while he spends the weekend away with another woman. I'm still here holding it down while he tells me to my face he does not want me, while he calls me out my name, bends over backwards to tell me how much he does not want me. But I am graced to be able to accept that. And I'm just covering him in prayer because he needs it. Like, don't piss me off. And my only hope is that a lot of women with this mindset can get freed from the shackles of bondage. Like, you want to talk about bondage? Subscribing to the patriarchy? Volunteering yourself as tribute to be a doormat?
That I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah. So he would call me out my name, it wouldn't bother me because I allowed God's voice to be louder than his. And when I was going through transition of him not coming home on the weekends, not being there, telling me I hate you, I'll never love you, I wish I never married you, right. I knew that life and death is in the power of the tongue through the word of God. So I would say, you will love me one day. We will have a good marriage one day. And although he would go out for weekends, I would literally help him get ready to go meet his side chick by ironing his clothes and getting him ready for the night. And these are all things I was graced to do. I would not encourage anybody to do that unless you are graced by God to do this. But
And that man is sitting there looking at her like, wow, this is one dumb bitch. I have a friend who husband cheats on her regularly. And she told me once that he would use church and prayer as a way to kind of like wrangle her back in and to like make her feel bad for not wanting to be with him. It's not funny. It's really not funny, but I literally cannot help but to laugh. You are saying that this man who was supposed to love you is calling you out your name, but you allowed God to be louder to drown out your husband calling you out your name. And you would iron your husband's clothes so that he could go see his side bitch, and that he was telling you and showing you that he did not love you and that he did not want to be with you. And you said you will one day. Because God. So why God didn't talk to him? Why God only ever talked to. If this isn't proof that organized religion and the church is meant to subjugate women. I don't get on here and talk about religion because y'all, this is the level of chokehold y'all be in. Mm-hmm. When anyone comes on here and says any valid criticism of the church, not of God, of the church, that is the chokehold y'all be in, ironing y'all husband's clothes for your side bitch, because y'all get in the comment and defend the most ridiculous shit in the name of God. It's so funny because you would never, I've never, ever seen a man say that God told him to stay with his cheating wife. I've never seen a woman say, yes, my wife got pregnant by another man and God told me to stay. Mm-hmm. Never. My thing is, right, y'all don't think the devil talks to people? You really think a being that is supposed to love us and care for us and truly wants the best for us would want you to stay in a situation like that? No, honest question. A lot of you confuse God with that little person in your head. God didn't tell you to do that. You wanted to stay with that dirty man. You wanted to stay with that good for nothing man. Mm-hmm. And you convinced yourself. To do that. And while I might not be the most religious person, you know, I have my own relationship with religion. But I don't know, blaming it on God just feels a little wrong. And I just know he hates her.
Please go down in the comment section, share your thought. Love to know what you think about this story, the conversation down in the comment section. But as always, please keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thought. So for me personally, like, this is something that it still has a strong shock hold in Nigeria, in my society, in my culture. And as I'm having this conversation, I'm just like, because I know people firsthand that are going to church, fasting and praying for their cheating husband to stop cheating. Anyway, please go down, share your thought down in the comment section, and let me know what you think. Here on this channel, we're just here to have conversation. We don't tussle here. We're not here to disrespect anybody. Okay, so go feel free, share your thought. It's a safe space to talk. Okay, so like I said before, this is a place where there's a lot, like it's something that is very prominent in my society. And hearing this woman say it just makes me feel like, oh my, oh, like come on. A lot of time women say, especially religious women, whether it be, and I feel I'm going to put it under the umbrella of religious women, but in this case we're talking about Christianity. But religious women, they stay in that toxic relationship, that toxic marriage, because that God has called them. They are to hold it down and make sure everything works, to make sure that marriage succeeds, because they are so scared of that shame of walking out of that marriage, because the religion is against it. I don't know if I'm making sense. And a lot of time you see women making excuses with, oh, it's the devil, it's the other woman. I'm talking about from my society. When things like this happen, they'll say, oh, it's the devil, it's the other woman. And you see even mothers, mother-in-law say, oh, pray for your husband so that another woman don't take him. And I remember I was having this conversation one time with my husband. We were just talking, and I was like, you know what? And he was saying that, oh, is a woman that prays, something about is a woman that prays and keeps the home. Right there and then I've never said deconstructed, and this was like maybe first year, second year into marriage. Right there and there, I just like, I checked in mama. I was like, why must it be a woman that holds the marriage spiritually and pray for the man? What is happening to the man? Is the man not a human being that has blood flowing in his body? And I remember we were going back and forth with this thing, and I said, you know what? If you, as the man, can pray and hold your house down, it takes two people to keep a marriage. I'm not going to be the one to do it for anybody. And this is something that has been put and been pushed to us women. I'm talking about Christianity in there, but I'll also put it in religion, because I was raised in a Christian religion. And a lot of the time, long suffering in marriage is considering now you're a virtuous woman, you're a strong woman, they are going to give you an award. And this has made a lot of women so dululu. We've seen it here on the internet where women come about talking about how they took their husband back, that had a child on them in their marriage, took back their cheating husband, took back the husband that put their hands on him, on them, just because God told them. God did not tell you. You have such a low self-esteem. You're so scared of being by yourself. You're so scared of what the church will say about you that you stayed in that marriage. The truth is that a lot of women are in this state, but these women in the religion atmosphere, they just use this as an excuse. Same way a lot of women use their children as an excuse, that, oh, it's because of my children I can't leave. Really? And the fact that this woman is here on the internet, and apparently I think she's a big deal. It is the first time me coming across her. She's out here on the internet talking about all these things, talking about how it's grace. How is it grace? You just have low self-esteem about yourself for you to walk away from that marriage that does not serve you. And a lot of the time, when it comes to religion, they've associated long suffering to, like, there's a reward to it. See, this life, God has given us this life. Yes, we're going to go through our own struggles, but let it be our own struggles with our own choice. There's a thing called choice in this life, and God has given us free will. A lot of time, people don't understand. That's something I'm really practicing lately now, free will. Like, I'm going to do something, and I'm just going to say, I'm doing it because I have free will. Because a lot of time, a lot of us sit down and dwell in the thoughts so much that we don't have free will. We're just going to conform to what society has formed and the fear society has pushed out for us. This woman was so desperate to be married, was so desperate to have this man, that no matter what this man would have done to her, she would have still stayed in that marriage. And maybe she will talk now and say, oh, now things has turned around and all that. What happened? I want to know what happened that turned around that relationship, where this man now has your time, that this man now loves you, that you and that man, you're sitting down in that distance. Because the thing he was looking for outside, he could not get it. And a lot of time, a lot of women are so scared that they don't realize that this life God gave us free. Even in the Bible, there is free will. A lot of time we are so scared. We don't want to move. We don't want to respect. But the truth is that, how can you even love yourself? How can you expect somebody to treat you so much with love and respect and with dignity when you don't even love yourself? Because a lot of time we talk about how we love, I love this person, I love you so much. Do you love yourself? Because the truth is that when you love yourself, you'll be selfish, which is where you're going to put yourself first and ask yourself, am I okay here? Does this make me feel depleted? Does this make me feel belittled? Does this make me feel devalued? And if this make me feel this type of all this negative energy, what am I still doing here? It's better I walk away. Most women don't love themselves. Most women don't want to leave those toxic relationship because they are scared of being by themselves. They are scared to exercise their free will. And that's why a lot of women to still go ahead and have children. If you ask a lot of them, why do you want to have children? They don't even know. That's why a lot of women go on and stay in this marriage. If you ask them, why are you staying in this marriage? They don't know. I have friends that are in fact, I have this friend that her husband, she's back to back. She's going to church every Wednesday and kabashing for her husband, saying that it's the other woman that has used something on him. How can you say something a grown man did with his intentions, with his eye open, walk to that girl and ask that girl out, and the girl said yes, not justifying that they're both cheating and all that, but how can you justify it and say it's the other woman's fault, not the man? And a lot of women in my society do this. They blame the other woman. They blame, witchcraft for a man that knows exactly what he's doing. They'll say God will change him, God will touch his heart, just the way God of Pharaoh touched Pharaoh's heart. That man knows exactly what he's doing. That man does not like you. If you're in that type of situation, that man knows exactly. It's not grace. God is not speaking to you. And I don't, when they talk about God speaking to you, it's a different thing, because I understand when you're in your own spirituality and all that. I personally have disconstructed religion. I don't believe in religion. I believe in God, and I believe in the higher power, but I don't believe in religion, because I feel like when it comes to religion, religion is just made to make women even suffer more. Honestly, it doesn't serve women. The same way I always talk about how marriage doesn't serve us women. Religion doesn't serve us, because if you go through religion, you find out that a lot of those laws in religion does not serve us as women. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section, share your thought. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversations. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.